tear, it falls and hits the ground. A tree, it falls without a sound. A bird, it calls and sends you home. A man, he sits in the cold all alone.
Hi, Nina. Thank you so much for joining me on the Story of Sunflowers. Please introduce yourself a little bit more.
Yes, my name is Nina Cowan, and I live in Tampa, Florida, and I am a fertility coach.
Wonderful, wonderful. Let's start from the very beginning.
Sure.
And at the beginning of your journey, did you always know that you wanted to be a mum, or was it something that you sort of came to?
Growing up, I did not want to be a mother because my mom was a single mom. There were 5 of us all together. Life was really hard. And I just said to myself, I'm never doing this. Because I just knew how hard it was, but something started happening in my 30s. And I was a school teacher initially for about 14, 15 years. And something happened I was about 35 and I started feeling my biological clock ticking. And I said to myself, what is this? What is going on? Oh my gosh, these kids are so cute. I feel like I want one of my own. And that's where it all started. And I ended up getting out of a bad relationship and started journaling about the type of person I wanted to meet, someone, that was financially stable, someone that wanted to have children. And by this time I was about maybe 39, 38, 39. So the clock was ticking. Met my husband. We got married. I was about 41 years old. And we started trying right away. And I ended up having a miscarriage after about 6 weeks of finding out that I was pregnant. And it hit me pretty hard. It was pretty devastating for me. And it took a while to kind of recover from that. But I still had the same goal in mind, which was we need to get a baby here. Well, unfortunately, my husband was in the military, fortunately or unfortunately, but he was in the military and he had to go away for a year. So I was going to be doing IVF on my own. And it just did not work out for us. All the embryos were abnormal. From there, he came back. And so we decided to start all over again, but with a new clinic. And we ended up being successful the second frozen transfer. And it was so exciting. I couldn't believe it. I went 6 months throughout the pregnancy, and I just had an inkling that something wasn't right. I wasn't in any pain or anything like that. I don't know, it was like an intuition that I had. So I went to the doctor and I said, listen, I went for one of my regular checkups, OB appointments, and they were like, everything's fine. Your daughter's fine. She's swallowing the fluid. She's kicking. She's moving all around. And I still left with this horrible feeling in the pit of my stomach. That weekend is the weekend that she passed away. Because by Monday, like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I wasn't really feeling her kick anymore. And they confirmed it on like a Tuesday and took her out by C-section. It was pretty hard. And I said to myself in the hospital, I'm never doing this again. This is it. Like, I can't take any more on. Well, about a month later, I was getting that feeling again. Like, I want to do this. I know I can have a successful pregnancy. So I told my husband, I said, I would love to just try again, and he said, okay, let's do it. So we did. Along the way, it was really tough emotionally, trying to focus on IVF, but also grieve the loss at the same time. So got into, we started another we started more cycles, and about a year later, we got pregnant again. And now we have a lovely 2.5-year-old. So definitely, you know, a rainbow, a pot of gold at the end of the story. Like it was just, it was a miracle. Everyone was just so happy. I was 46 at the time when I eventually gave birth. And while I was going through my journey, I was like, you know, man, I really want to try to help other women. How can I do this? What route can I take to help women? So I was feeling a little depressed after I gave birth, and a friend of mine who is a life coach, she did an intake on me to kind of figure out, kind of shift my thinking about things, to figure out who I am and what my core values are. Right after that session, it was probably about 2 hours long. Right after that session, I was like, that's it. This is what I want to do, but for fertility clients, because she did something that my own therapist was not able to do. And she turned a switch somewhere in my brain, and I just felt so good about myself again, and was like, yeah, that's right. These are my core values. These are the things that I believe in. And I'm like, this is what I want to do for other women. I want to make them feel how she made me feel, to bring me out of that darkness that I was in. So here I am.
Wow. That's such a good story in terms of, like, you know, I mean, having the rainbow at the end, and then having that kind of journey with someone who sort of just helped you get into a mindset that was more positive and was more sort of conducive to doing something that you wanted to do. And it's so true, like the mindset thing, like if you don't have the right mindset, you don't have that shift, it can be really quite harsh, like the reality of that, like you're in the dark, it's like a darkness. And that hope is really hard to kind of look for without a different mindset. So I think it's amazing that that's something that you're doing, because I mean, I've talked to a fair few fertility coaches now, and I just think you guys are amazing. Like it's such an important thing, like in this space, especially, like, oh, like we just need someone to talk to. The amount of emotion and everything that goes into this process. And also every woman I've talked to who is a fertility coach has been through it. And I think that as well is really validating for, you know, us who have gone through it. We are going through it, and we need that help, you know. So it's really amazing that you're doing that.
Well, and thank you for saying that. It feels, this is a labor of love. Like I love it's a lot of work, but I love every minute of it. And I sometimes feel like I was called to do this type of work from a higher power, whatever you want to call it. You know, I honestly, I had a dream right before I decided to do this work. And there was a woman who came to me in my dream who had cancer, and she had like lost all of her hair. She had been going through chemo. And I think at this point, like she was ready to start a family, because, you know, she was finished with chemo. But she came to me in tears, and she's like, please, you know, I really want you to help me get pregnant. And I was like, of course. I'm crying with her. I'm like, of course I'm going to do that for you. That's your dream. I'm going to try to make it happen for you. So I honestly feel like I was called to do it. I do have a background in education, and I'm just continuing to teach, but in a different way. I'm continuing to support emotionally, you know, in a different way. Because, you know, teachers wear many, many hats. And yeah, so I'm loving every bit of it. And, you know, there's so many successes, you know, versus, you know, one success could look like, you know, helping that client navigate, you know, advocating for themselves. You know, a success could be a positive pregnancy test, which we got 3. I got 3 in the last couple of weeks. You know, so there's so many, and each client is so different. They have different needs, but really the main thing that they need is some type of emotional support, some way to be able to contact me whenever they need to ask a question, to give them feedback about a test that they've taken or what have you. So
yeah. Something I found interesting that you said was that, you know, you found it really hard to move through the grief while you were going through treatments. And I've found that a lot with the women I've spoken to. Like, as you're going through those times of trying to get pregnant, you're going through fertility treatments, like that just seems to be the sort of time of turmoil, because you can't fully grieve, you know, what you've been through and deal with that trauma, you know. And I'm guessing that's what you found as a fertility coach as well.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, you're right. You can't do both at the same time. It's got to be one or the other. And for me, I believe I started the grieving process after I finally gave birth, and was like, and it was awful. It's like you've got this new bundle of joy that you want to celebrate, that you're so happy about. But at the same time, there's this pain that's been locked inside of you for a while. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, having some type of support, like a fertility coach, it could be a clergy woman or man, you know, at a church. It could be a friend that you have. It could be someone that, you know, you feel close to, that you can confide in, to help you get through that grief. But finding someone, it doesn't have to be me, you know, it could be anyone. And I just really encourage women, my clients, to find that one person, whether it's myself or, you know, their mom, someone that they feel safe with, because it's really all about feeling safe and not having someone that really loves you, you know, say things that are not helpful. And that happens so often. I had that happen to me a lot of times. And I just tell my clients, protect your space, set those boundaries, you know, because that space, you have to be in a good headspace in order to be able to continue on your fertility journey. It's so hard to do. It's like you're fighting a battle of like all these different, you know, things that are elements that are out there. But, you know, women can do it. Women are strong, and you'll know when you're done. Every woman has that, you know, thing within them. I was, when I was teaching still and going through my fertility journey, I had a principal who had a miscarriage, and she lost twins. Right after that, she's like, never doing this again. I'm going to adopt. And that's the route that she went on right away. But there are other women that are just like, nope, this is going to happen for me. I want to continue on this route. And that is where I come into play. You know, if there's women that still are struggling, you know, I help women with many different facets of their fertility journey. It's not just one thing that I do. So
Yeah, no, I've found the same thing, like talking to women, you know, they know where that door is. You know, you might not know it right now, but when you get to that door, you'll know, and you're faced with that door, you'll be like, okay, I'm gonna close that now. Like, I'm done. You know, it is
absolutely.
It's from the experiences I've heard, like it's a very powerful like feeling of, yeah, I'm closing this door now. So just speaking into after your rainbow baby, because I know that that's something that a lot of women really worry about and think about. Like, I'm currently pregnant. I am 27 weeks.
Congrats.
And it is a real fear that, you know, I didn't allow myself to really go through the grief like fully. Like I did go through a grieving process, and there was a whole time of everything, you know, and obviously doing this has been very therapeutic. But I do know that after I have the baby, there's going to be maybe some things that I didn't realize I hadn't gone through yet. So what was that process like for you? And maybe even speaking into like maybe your clients and sort of how that's gone for them, if you still have your clients after they've had their rainbows.
Okay, so one of the things that I've done for one of my clients, she continuously had early miscarriages. And she's actually pregnant right now. And really, we are just messaging back and forth. You know, she is making sure that she protects her space. She's not telling too many people about the pregnancy right now, which is totally understandable. You want to make sure that this lasts, you know, before you start spreading the news, because she's had so many losses before. One of the things that I would say, you know, after, you know, if you're pregnant or you've got your rainbow baby, I would even say, you know, maybe join some type of group. And as a matter of fact, there's like, you know, there's grief counseling that's out there for women. There is, you know, loss groups for women to go and share their grief with each other. And they bond in that sense. But as far as my clients are concerned, I really just try to keep them in a good headspace with meditation, with mindfulness. What are some things, you know, journaling. Another thing that I did not do, and I wish I had done it, but really even, you know, celebrating, you know, that the life, no matter how short it was, in some way, you know, having some type of small ceremony. I did try about a year ago to, I had this Chinese paper where you write a message on there and you light it up and you know, let it float into the sky. And I was going to have all of my friends do that, but we had red tide at the beach. So we weren't able to do it. So I do plan on doing something like that eventually. But yeah, just in some way, you know, making sure that you are keeping focused on the goal in mind, and not necessarily, and if you need to cry, cry it out. You know, if you need to punch a pillow, do that. You know, if you need to go into the woods and scream, you know, do that. You know, do whatever works for you. And that is what I try to do for my clients. Is they're all individual. They all are going to, you know, grieve a certain way, and you just have to help lead them towards that thing. So that's what I try to do.
Yeah, it's like working out what's their thing, like what's going to work for them, because obviously, yeah, everyone is different, and some of us, yes, want to punch a pillow or something, or scream into a pillow, or scream into a forest, or, you know, watch a really sad movie and cry for like ages.
Oh my gosh. I've got a number one movie on my list that it resonated with me so much, and I bawled the entire thing. It was very therapeutic for me. But yeah, whatever works for you, because a lot of times you're not even thinking of, you know, expressing your grief in a certain way. You know, you're just like, I'm just surviving right now. You know, so I help lead my clients to whatever fits them. I mean, it could be prayer, it could be many different things, you know.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that process, I mean, that's going to work before you've had your rainbow and after you've had your rainbow. If you're going through those throes of emotions, and you just need to, it's just a case of outletting that in whichever way speaks to you. Yeah,
Absolutely.
So yeah. I mean, going to your personal experience, what did you do to kind of move through after you had your rainbow? What processes did you go through with your grief?
Sure. So I'll be honest with you, I wasn't even sure what was going on with me. But I just knew I was in a really dark place. So starting my fertility coaching business to try and help heal other women, that is the biggest thing that has been really helpful for me. Because, you know, I had someone ask me before, you know, you are speaking with your clients, does that bring up emotions for you? And most of the time it does. It might bring up a memory, But most of the time, I am just really focused on that client and their story and their struggle and trying to help heal them. So through healing other people, that is how I've been healing. I also joined grief support because I think that was something, because I'm like, I'm not really sure if I need that, but I'm going to join anyway to see how that works out for me. And if it's not the right, because it may not be the right fit, that's what I was thinking before. Like, it may not necessarily be the right fit. I mean, I remember going to group support, and that wasn't necessarily the right outlet for me, because I sat there, and this was right after I had my miscarriage, and I thought, I want to help each and every one of these women that are here. You know what I mean? Like, I just felt so awful that like some of these women had gone like, 12 years, 13 years, and hadn't gotten their rainbow baby or hadn't gotten pregnant at all. And I was just like, oh my gosh, what can I do to try to help these women? So for me, personally, helping to heal other women is helping to heal me at the same time.
That's really beautiful. And yeah, I mean, like you said, like different outlets, different people, right? So for you, it's helping others. That's actually healing you, because one thing, like, you're doing something with that pain, with that grief, that is actually meaningful and is changing other people's lives, which is really powerful. So I think, yeah, like for me, doing this event, it's a big project. I am a project girl. I love projects. I'm like crazy with the big projects and things, and I take stuff on all the time, like different things. And when I said to my husband I was doing this, he was like, okay. He's like, that's a lot of work. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. It needs to be done. And he's like, all right.
Divine intervention, helping to fuel you for this project.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Christian, so I did feel very like, this is maybe God leading me, because and it's actually made me slow down in other ways, which is really weird, because I'm quite a like do all these things, and I've had to slow down to focus solely on this project, to focus solely on what I'm doing here in the now. And it's been really powerful. It's been a really amazing experience to talk with so many different women, hear so many different experiences and perspectives. And I have cried, not gonna lie.
And that's okay. That's a human emotion. That is okay.
Yeah. I was like, no, I'm just being like Jesus, he cried, when someone died, when Lazarus died. So right. Just embracing Jesus and crying.
Love it.
And died. So yeah.
No, I love that. I love what you're doing, because, while you were talking, I felt like, this project is like your baby right now. Mm. And, in a sense, it's very similar to once that baby gets here, you have to be mindful, you have to be focused on the baby, nurture it, feed it, like all these different things. And like, so you're just getting prepared for your baby to come.
Hey, baby.
I think it's great what you're doing. I mean, I think when like you knew, like, wow, I'm being called to do this, like the same way that I was feeling about becoming a fertility coach. And I think we need to listen to our intuition a lot more, because, women are really powerful creatures. We are amazing. And if we listen to our intuition a lot more, I think that, it can really change the world. By helping to change yourself and change other, like empowering yourself. That's one of my core value words, helping to empower yourself first and then helping to empower other women. Oh man, there's nothing like it. And I just think it's such a beautiful, beautiful thing, especially with what I'm doing, with what you're doing. And we're reaching so many different people by doing this. Because not only do I have clients in the United States, I mean, I have clients in other countries as well. Why not, expand out and spread this? Because, women are everywhere. Why not?
Yeah, and I mean, the thing that's amazed me as well, and that I really love, is that no one coach is the same, obviously, because we're all different, we're all unique. So what one person resonates with, another person might not, and then they'll resonate with someone else. So that's the beautiful thing about coaches as well. There's never going to be too many of you, because there's just so many different people in the world, and they will resonate with different people as well. So yeah, it's really amazing, like the differences and how amazing women are. It is so true.
Yeah, like I partner, with other women who are in different fields, but still do some type of fertility treatment or coaching. And I've partnered with 2 different pelvic floor specialists. I'm partnering with the Jewish Fertility Foundation. Believe it or not, I told my coach, I'm like, who would have thought that I would have been a part of this Jewish organization? Some Black girl from Wisconsin. um, I have all of my partnerships, in a little file. And if I don't feel like I'm the right fit for a client, I might refer them to someone else who can better help them. So I think that's important to keep in mind, because, like you said, we're all different. We don't all treat our clients the same. We don't all, set the same type of goals, set the same type of treatments and things like that. So
yeah, and I love the way, you do recommend other people's services if you're like, I think this other person would probably suit you better. And I think that's such an important thing to do, because we're not in this just for ourselves. We're like, to make money and stuff. We're doing this because we actually care, and we actually just love. And that's what I love about this community. We all love each other. Like we love all these women, and we're just like, I love you. And I mean, most of the women I talk to, I'm like, I wish I could like come into your space and give you a hug and have coffee and tea with you. I don't drink coffee, so it have to be tea. But it is just like that, like the amount of love and care, and just, and it really isn't a case of, wanting to make money or wanting to like, yeah, it's really people before anything else. And I think that's such a
absolutely,
like a gorgeous thing about this community. I know there's a lot of ugliness in the community, but that is something that is really, really beautiful, I think.
Yeah, I've gotten so much support from people that have helped me along the way. Another one of the things to bounce back to grief was a hypnotherapist who works with mainly women that are wanting to get pregnant. And my acupuncturist is the one that referred me to her, she was a fertility acupuncturist. And she's like, listen, I want to send you to her, because I don't want anything to get in the way of your wanting to have this next baby. So I started getting hypnotized from Colorado. And it was great. So yeah, there's just such and she's willing to work with me and partner with me. Like, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful sisterhood. And I love being a part of this community.
Yeah, yeah, like the reason why we're here, not so much, but yeah, being in the community is just like amazing. Gosh, can we touch a little bit more on the things that you tried? Like, I love the alternatives, like all the different things. Like, I'm not a big fan of needles, so whenever someone says acupuncture, I'm like, oh, like I just think of all the, I'm like, no, I don't like it.
Yeah, I am the type of person that I'm a planner, right? So I was, my husband and I got married. Well, no, we didn't get married right away. We were dating at the time. And I went to Abu Dhabi to teach for a year. And while I was there, I just started taking all these supplements. And once I got back, I'm like, okay, I need to find an acupuncturist, because I know this is the guy. Like, I know we're going to get married. So I started searching for a fertility acupuncturist. And yeah, like she, did an intake on me, obviously, to find out, what my goals were, what state my body was in. And she put me on Chinese herbs, which helped with my period, because I was having really painful periods at the time, like shooting pain down my foot. And one acupuncture treatment took it away, gone.
Wow.
And I was on the herbs as well at the same time. So I'm sure that had something to do with it. But the herbs helped to balance out your hormones. And the herbs were house made. And this woman was just amazing. She did everything. She supported me mentally. She, it was just a safe place for me to go while I was going through IVF. You're pumped full of all these different hormones. And I would go to her space, her, clinic, and I would just lay on the table. The music would be in the background. And I would fall asleep while the needles were in me. And I just loved it. I always felt like I was going to be well taken care of once I went there. And I don't know if you've gone through IVF before, but the medications, you're pumped full of all these hormones. It makes you a little crazy sometimes. And I just remember getting off the table and feeling light as a feather. So good. Like I was just in really good hands. So she treated me for about 5 years. And she even helped me through the loss and cried with me and held my hand and just, she was everything to me. But yeah, there are specific points on your body to help with blood flow to your uterus, to help implantation of the embryo, to balance out your hormones. Whatever ailment you have, even if you don't want to get pregnant, I'm telling you, acupuncture is the way to go because it is very healing. And it's everything. And I'm actually still getting acupuncture treatments right now.
Wow. Okay. So you liked it that much. Yeah, I've heard some good things. Yeah, I've heard some great things. And I'm just like, I probably should after I have this baby because my periods are terrible. Like, so much pain. Like I get like shaky legs. Sometimes I throw up. Like I get really quite unwell. And I thought it was like normal. Like I thought, oh, that's just a normal period. And then I'm like doing this event. I'm like, oh no, I could have like a really bad hormone imbalance and some issues going on there. And that's why I'm so sick.
Absolutely.
And
you're right.
I told my sister too, because she has the same thing.
Say that. Oh, you told your sister as well? Oh, yeah. You are not supposed to be in any type of pain at all or discomfort. There is definitely something going on with you. So yeah, try it out. You may or may not like it, but give it a try and see what happens.
And what's your experience like with the hypnotherapy as well? Like how did that sort of go?
That was another experience that, it was something that I'd never done before. But I also felt this just motherly energy coming from the person that I worked with. And we would meet like once a month, a couple months after I had the stillbirth. And she would just listen to everything that I said. And based off of what I was going through or what barriers I was having mentally, she would just create an audio tape for me and she would send it digitally or an audio recording and she would send it to me and she would put me in a state of relaxation because it taps into your parasympathetic nervous system. Excuse me. And you just go to another place. For me personally, it really worked. It really helped to make me calm and focus on the goal. And really, she also included a lot of visualizations as well. Being able to visualize a healthy embryo, being able to visualize that embryo implanting into your uterus. And the techniques that she used, it wasn't just like, okay, imagine the embryo implanting. It was like, oh, imagine you're in a room, And what's in that room? What do you imagine it? I'm like, oh, there's a fire burning. There's a nice cushy sofa. I've got a nice furry rug, on the ground. I'm cuddled up with my favorite blanket. And that is the process that I imagine myself for that embryo implanting. That nice, cozy, warm living room was my uterus.
Nice.
So yeah, she just and then also, she would do things where you felt more connected to a community. So she would help you visualize these amazing people around you, in a circle, and they were all there to support you, just you on your journey, and they all had, one of them had a talking stick, and they would go around and say certain things to you or about, life or whatever, what advice that they had. And one person could only speak at a time, but it was more like real life, right? How you would build that community around you to help support you through whatever you were going through.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great. I highly recommend it. Even if you want to stop smoking, if you want to deal with grief of losing, a pregnancy or a loved one. I highly recommend fertility, whatever. So it worked. I feel like it worked for me and it helped me.
No, it sounds like it would, because I mean, there's a lot of science behind the whole, like, when you imagine something, like it's almost like you've gone through that. So like there's some stuff about, like, if you imagine running and like doing some exercise, it's almost your body actually reacts as it starts having reactions as if you've actually done that exercise.
Yes.
So if you're getting like almost like a big community and support and like all these people saying nice things and like helping you, even though that's technically in your mind, you're still getting that.
You're still getting.
Yeah, like your subconscious and your conscious is still getting those people talking to you and helping you and being nice to you and saying the right things.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be powerful.
I read somewhere that 95% of your brain activity or input deals with the subconscious. I don't know if it's true or not, but it was mind blowing. And think about how you talk to yourself throughout the day. Think about all the things, that you don't even realize you're saying, well, I can't do this and I can't do that, and really hypnotherapy is there to help replace all of those negative things that you're inputting in or other people might say to you. And then you end up repeating it in your mind anyway. So yeah, it's a powerful tool, I think.
Yeah. And I find like, I've found that I'm probably the most negative in my mind. Like, it's not necessarily others' input. It's just my own headspace, that has been a real like challenge to kind of overcome. And I think I've gotten to the point now where I can actually talk myself through and get to the other side, So it's, yeah, so that's been a bit of a journey, but yeah, you can talk yourself through, but sometimes it doesn't work. Like, yeah, so hypnotherapy sounds like a good resource to use instead of having to like go through that long journey towards that time where you can actually talk yourself through something. Because although that's a good thing, it takes a long time to get there.
No, I agree. And I think the first step is even recognizing what you are doing to yourself. Because sometimes you don't even realize it. You're going throughout your day, you're working, you're cooking, and you're inputting all this negative and negative self-talk. And sometimes you don't even realize you're doing it. So that's the first step, and then the second step is you're right. You got to talk yourself out of it now, and I'm sure it looks different for other people, but it can be challenging to in order to do that. And that was actually one of the issues I had when I was going through my grief. My grief wasn't me, sitting and crying all day or thinking about the thing. It was more of attaching this a negative experience to my brain and playing the replay button over and over and over again, and I couldn't stop. It was, and the like I said, the only thing that helped me at the time was the intake that my friend did for me. So the mind is so powerful, and we do have to take care of it, nurture it, and protect it, because it's pretty strong.
It's so true, so true. I mean, yeah, I think we underestimate the power of our brain and the power that just our thoughts have over our entire like day and life, and just like those moments, you know. Oh, it's crazy. Before we wrap it up, can you talk about any of your practices and things that you do in your fertility coaching business, and ways that you help women, just so everyone can kind of get a sense of what you do, and yeah, whether they want to get to know you more and maybe have a look at your links below.
Absolutely. So typically what I do is I do a free call for anyone that wants to work with me, and we talk to see if we are a good fit, because we, like I was saying before, we may not necessarily be a good fit, and I can refer that client someplace else. But if we are, I have my clients fill out an intake form, a couple of them, so I can get an idea of where they're at with their health, where they are at with their mindset. And from there, I create a personalized plan based off of the forms. And we might start with, their physical health first. We might start whatever's most important. That's where I tend to start, because you don't want to go through for your fertility journey with any type of like barriers. And I want to try to hit hard with that first one. And I help my clients with lifestyle changes, with nutrition. I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a doctor, but I do suggest some, powerful fertility foods. And I always ask my clients, check with your doctor first before you start a new regimen of, supplements or nutrition or exercise. But yeah, I help with, like I said, lifestyle changes, and it also could include, their environment. There are things that we put on our bodies that could affect our fertility. There are things that we, like, for instance, plastics. If there's lots of like BPA, bad things that are in plastics that can, that you can ingest, and it can imitate estrogen and cause you to have so many different issues with your periods, with your cycle. It could affect your egg health. I also, recommend that my clients do meditation, because some of them might have trouble sleeping, and sleeping could hugely impact your fertility. And who would have thought, right, that sleep could affect your egg health or anything like that. We go over, we go over a plan to get them to sleep better throughout the night. I have some of my clients journal, because maybe they are just stuck and they can't get out of their heads. So maybe journaling or painting, and all of that falls under mindfulness. That's one of the things that I teach, is being present in the moment for what it is at that moment, and not trying to focus on, because a lot of women like to try to, plan ahead and focus on the future, or stay stuck in the past. And mindfulness is a powerful tool to really help them just focus on the task at hand, because fertility is just so overwhelming. There's so many different aspects to it. So, we go over supplements, and I try to steer my clients towards a high quality supplement versus, just something off the shelf at Walgreens or CVS, like your local, pharmacy, because they could be filled with fillers and bad stuff for you. So I take a look at the mind, the overall health of the body, hormone levels. I'm able to take a look at your hormone levels and go, wow, I know your doctor said that your levels are falling into the normal range, but really you want to be in the optimal range. And if there's anything that's a little off, say with your thyroid or something like that, it could really adversely affect your fertility. And a lot of women don't know that. I also provide a service to where if you are local, I'll go to your fertility appointments with you. If you need support and your significant other can't be there. Yeah. I just had a client last month, a couple of months ago, who was going on a cruise and her husband was going to be taking over the phone call with a doctor. And I said, well, would you like to be on the phone call with your husband? And she's like, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. And I said, well, I'll do it. I'll be there for you. I'll take notes. I'll talk to the doctor and your husband and I will both give you a report when you come back from your cruise. So I try to, think outside the box as to how I'm going to help my client feel fully supported in every single way. That is what you get from me because I've been there. I know what it's like. And I just want to be that person that they can go to go, okay, now I can breathe because I've got my partner in crime right here. That's going to be by my side through this entire process. I mean, I'm still working with a client who just got pregnant and we're still in communication. I'm helping her along through her appointments, just mentally she's a doctor and I'm just like, she has a very stressful life. So I'm trying to help her and her husband just stay focused and clear-headed and, anything that they still need right now, like I'm there for them. So
it sounds like you just take the overwhelm out of it. Like there's so much information, there's so many things that you can do or try and look at. And it sounds like, yeah, you just take the overwhelm, you take that off their shoulders, and then you go, right, okay, here's a plan. Here's what we can do. Here's what you can do. Here's what you can try. Say yay or nay and we'll move through and I can help you move through. And that's such a great thing that you're providing. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. This is my life's mission right now to help women make as many babies as possible.
Yeah, I just want all the babies in the world. Like everyone who wants babies, I want them to have babies. That's how I feel.
Yes.
I'm just like, I'm like,
that's my goal.
I've gotten to the point now where I'm just like, all the women who want babies, let them have the babies. Like, because there's just too many to pray for now. I just
I love that quote. I should put that on a t-shirt.
I just pray for all the babies. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh. So just as a final note, is there anything that you'd want to say to anyone who's maybe in the throes of it right now? Maybe they are feeling really overwhelmed with everything. What would you maybe say to them to kind of help them through?
Sure. The first thing that I would say, and I'm going to touch back to building your fertility team. That fertility team is going to be a reproductive endocrinologist that you feel, completely comfortable with. Building a team may include a fertility coach or clergy, someone from your church. It could be 10 different people that have your back. Get some type of support that's out there. And it may look different for different people, but if you find someone that you can cry with, someone that you can confide in, someone that's going to not cross any boundaries with you, look for that first. And a coach can be part of that team, like myself. Reach out for help if you need it. Don't go through this alone because you are not alone. There are so many women and men out there that are going to be willing to support you through this process. So if you feel like you're in a deep dark hole right now, reach out for some type of support.
Yeah, that's so good and so important. And I know a lot of people are a little bit averse to going for groups, and I'm actually one of them, not overly comfortable about groups. So yeah, a fertility coach is a really fantastic way to kind of have support, and you get the one-on-one, and you don't have to be in a room with loads of different people. You can do it from the comfort of your own home, because a lot of fertility coaches work online. So you can have that support, and you are so right. Like, you do need something. You need some kind of support. And, sometimes your partner just can't be that person for you. And, sometimes your mum can't be that person for you. And, you need someone else, and sometimes you just need a stranger.
Absolutely.
Like,
yes. Absolutely. And there's even free support. Like I volunteer my time at the Jewish Fertility Foundation, as well as partnering with them. But there's free one-on-one support out there as well. I take some clients that are with them, and we go out to lunch. I had one of the clients say, "Hey, you want to come out on my boat?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course I do," and I just support and try to get them out of that headspace, because sometimes you don't even want to think about fertility. You just need some other distraction to get you off of that fertility train for a while. And look for someone that can help you do that as well. It doesn't have to be a formal, thing with a coach necessarily.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you just need someone who knows what you're going through. They understand it, and they're not going to ask you any questions. They're not going to probe you. They're not going to push you. They're just going to stand with you and laugh with you. Unsolicited advice is what I've been told it's called. I love that.
That's a big no-no. I just text all my friends, do not say these things to me, please. Here you go. Here's the list.
that is actually something we need to do. That needs to be a practice that we all do. Like, we need a pamphlet. I'm going to make a pamphlet. I'm going to add it to this.
Yes.
Pamphlet to send to loved ones. Don't say this.
There you go. Yes.
Problem
do
solved.
it. Spread the word. They need to know.
Send it to all you fertility coaches, and you can kind of pass it along from there.
Yep. You got the right idea.
Yeah. Well, it's necessary, isn't it? Like, hopefully then we can spread the knowledge and the understanding, and then we'll have less people saying those things that we need to hear.
You got it, Ella.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and for speaking with me, and for speaking about your practices and the things that you've experienced. I really feel like it will help other women, and I know that you're helping lots of women, because from this chat and from what you've talked about that you do, taking the overwhelm out of this whole thing is just that is so key and amazing. So thank you so much for what you do.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate this time with you. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to move on to the next interview for today.
That's fun. Where are you getting all of this energy from? When I was pregnant, I didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't want to be around anyone.
It's got to be him. That's it.
Yeah.
That is him. Like, it's all him, because I'm like, please God, let me have the energy. Please God, let me get through this. Sometimes I'm exhausted, and then I get this ping, and I'm like, what? Where did that come from? So it has to be him, because I can't explain it any other way. My husband's asked me the same thing. I'm like, it's God. I can't. It's a miracle. There you go.
Hats off to you. Hats off to you. Seriously.
Well, thank you, and thank you so much for joining me. And,
sure thing.
Yep.
Sure thing, and take care. And I still have to fill that form out for you, so I'll go ahead and get on that.
Please do. Yes. And I will send you the live schedule, so you'll know, and hopefully we can chat again on there, and you can join in with one of the live sessions. Oh my gosh, I can't even speak.
That sounds perfect. This was so nice. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Please note that all speakers, including experts and professionals, express information, views, and opinions that should not be used to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any medical conditions. If you have a medical issue, please consult a qualified professional. Speakers voice their own views, opinions, and conclusions, and they may not reflect the views, opinions, and conclusions of other speakers. Ella Rose, The Joy of Sunflowers, and its sponsors may not endorse all or any of the views, opinions, or conclusions expressed.